we hadn't taken her to the gravesite since she was born. It was the first time we were taking her there. And before we got to the gravesite, she described my father's tombstone. I show her a picture of my father, and she was like, I know him. And I was like, my daughter Africa believes that her father can pick up cars and buses, you know? So even when the world ridiculed him and judged him and made a joke about what had happened, you know, despite the odds and whatever else, in my daughter's eyes, he was still the strongest man. That, for me, was what I hoped he would hold on to instead of the noise of the world. I remember the only thing he said to me was, I love you. Remember, Daddy loves you. Daddy loves you. Go to bed. Go to bed. Daddy loves you. Daddy loves you. Monday morning, we don't find my father anywhere. And he had unfortunately committed suicide. Because after my dad had passed away, because I carried the guilt of my father's passing.
Why?
Because I dreamt of his death before it happened.
Yo, hustlers, I have been waiting for this one. I've been looking forward to this one. As a matter of fact, we're supposed to record a radio interview on my morning show today. And then obviously we've got an Olympics program that is starting the entire SABC. And then she was like, but I can't do the podcast, because I was like, she'll probably be busy a bit later. She was like, nah, I'm available. Now we're doing it. She's a businesswoman. She is geez, how many titles do you have, man?
A couple, and we're extending the list every single day.
Extending the list, right?
But mother, like you said, businesswoman. People know me primarily as a dancer, which is fantastic. Choreographer, performance creative director, MC, television host, used to be on radio, and.
And I was saying to you today, like, Kacheko, you look like Candace exactly.
My twinsy with the 4-year gap.
Yeah.
Basically.
The MODISELLE sisters.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You have such a special place in the MODISELLE home and in our hearts. I know for Candace, she holds you so near and dear to her. And I know with the trajectory, and even in her journey, especially when she was on Massive and being on radio, I know what that meant to her. So thank you for even giving that to her and even having the vision and really just wanting to afford her the opportunity to even invest that kind of time and effort into that skill set. So yeah, you are very special.
Thank you.
Oh, would you see it, man? I feel like everyone.
Thank you. I know everybody tells me that. Everybody tells me that. Like, I'm like, it's so beautiful.
Of course.
Rafilo, wherever you are, how you doing? I miss you.
Bestie.
I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, I know she adores you as well. My mom,
mama. So I sat down with Candace the other time. I didn't know the story of how you guys were brought up, and she shared it on the pod.
Yeah.
And she spoke about your guys' father. And it was such an emotional episode.
Yeah.
But it was quite an interesting story of how your parents raised these 3 girls, and you guys all ended up in the industry.
It's
the MODISELLE sisters.
So but look, I mean, if you think about it, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree when we think about our parents, right? As much as my dad was an accountant, he was also a model. So he was in the industry already somewhat. But we feel like we're all extensions of my mother. The humor in us, the entertainment factor, us being so charismatic and fun and bubbly and in the arts are really just us segmented parts of my mom. My mom is all of these things, you know. But yeah, look, bittersweet, you know, but show me a childhood which is smooth sailing. Show me a childhood that's perfect.
Do you miss your father?
Of course. Oh my gosh, every single day.
I miss my father too.
Every single day. Like, I wish...
he was here to see all of your success.
Yes.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, I think he'd be very, very proud of all of us.
He's in the
and what we're
room.
able to do.
Does he visit you sometimes?
Yeah, I dream about him. I do. Recently, we went to his gravesite. You know, Spoo.
I know I didn't want to
Wait
do
till
this.
Bana,
I
ne?
didn't
No,
want
no,
to
no.
do this, but yeah.
Yeah, but you know,
Southern Comfort. Some of us know it as SoCo. They have hooked up with DJ Chaotic, one original spirit with another. If you know Southern Comfort, the smooth whiskey base with stone fruits and spices, you know you can mix it with just about anything. You can mix it with lemonade, cola, orange juice. Yes, you can mix it. Now stand a chance to mix it up with your mates, because Southern Comfort is giving away a house party valued at over 100,000 rands with DJ Chaotic at the decks. If that's talking to your original spirit, buy a bottle of Southern Comfort to enter. Details in store. Southern Comfort, so tasteful, so original. Drink responsibly. Not for sale to persons under the age of 18.
Bana are fascinating, and when I say Bana, I'll say Africa. We hadn't taken her to the gravesite since she was born. It was the first time we were taking her there. And before we got to the gravesite, she described my father's tombstone. She had never been there. We had never physically taken her there. But, I mean, his tombstone is like a book. And she had described a book, and I was like, wait, what do you mean? Anyway, so this is in conversation with her the day before, and we're kind of giving her context, and I'm saying to her, Nana, we're going to go to the graveyard. She knows what a cemetery is. We're going to go, you're going to go see, your grandfather is my father. He passed away a very long time ago. I show her a picture of my father, and she was like, I know him. And I was like, this is the first time I speak about it.
Yeah.
This was like two months ago, so. And she was like, yeah, he's tall. And she described him to a T. Now, how? The picture that I showed her was about yay big. It was it was a portrait. But she was like, no, he's tall. He came to visit me. I said, no. I cried until I was blue in the face, because I was like, what do you mean? And then she described his place of rest. And I was like, nah, I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is. But I didn't find it extremely surprising, because before he passed on, I dreamt of his passing. So there's a thing about dreams in our family and seeing, and yeah, but it's so to have experienced and heard that from my daughter was I didn't know how to make sense of it. And I didn't feel like I had to make sense of it, but I was like, should she know him? Should he have visited her or appeared to her in whatever way? I'm grateful, because I know that she is guided and looked after.
You know, I always say to people who still have both parents, guys, cherish your folks. I know some of you guys have got differences with your parents. Some of you guys always say it's irreparable. But if you can, be the bigger person and try to repair that relationship. Because once they're gone, these people, it doesn't matter how old you are. And they always say time heals, but it could have been 20 years ago. But the importance of a parent in anyone's life, in everyone's life, guys. Some of you guys who still have both parents, we don't have that luxury anymore. Cherish them. Find a way to reconcile with them. Find a way to build a relationship, even if they might have hurt you. But try and reconcile with the folks, man. My father does visit me sometimes. He visits me. I do get emotional. I miss him. There's times when I need certain questions answered, and he's not there to answer those questions as a man. You know, that brought me up. And I was brought up by my stepfather. Biological father also passed on. So both of my dads passed on. And just sadly, recently, last week, we're burying his younger brother, my biological father's younger brother, Ubaba Mncane wami, Robert. May so rest in peace. Lala ngoxolo Baba Mncane, Nkosi. He used to be a taxi boss in Tembisa. Was in the taxi business. Now, it's like I've lost all my fathers. But you still need a father. I'm a 45-year-old grown-ass man who's still crying about his father. But when he visits me, I feel him when he visits. I know days when I miss him so much. I miss him so much, and I wish you could be here to answer some questions that I have. Because this life thing has got no manual, man.
It doesn't.
You know
There's
what I mean?
no one size fits all. And I applaud you for being open and being able to say that as a 45-year-old man, you still yearn for your father's presence, his love, his knowledge, his wisdom. I'm grateful for the fact that they still live in us, in our DNA, in our lineage, in our ancestry. They are there. But sometimes you just need that physical presence, just a touch and a hug, you know? You need the sound of his voice. You need his scent. And it really makes a great difference. But you're a good man if it counts for something.
Yes,
you know?
ma'am.
You are a good man. And I think it's important for you to know that. And I think your fathers, all of them, not even would be, I know that they're proud.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Tate, your father, when you passed, you guys were little girls.
Yeah.
Now you're so grown. Like, I'm sure you wish sometimes you could have been here to see his grandchildren.
You have
right?
no idea.
And how well you guys are doing as grown-ups.
You have no idea.
I saw Candice the other day hand her life over to God.
Yeah.
You know, being born again. I was so proud of her.
Right.
And yeah, I'm just so proud of all of you guys. You're such a beautiful example. I'm a father of a girl. You know, I'm a girl child's father. So every time when I look at sisters, I see you guys differently from before I had a child. Because I'm fathering a girl, every older girl or every older sister, like I see my daughter in you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why I'm talking about your father.
Thank you. How is your daughter doing? Is she good?
She's doing great, eh? One of the things I like about her, because, you know, we work so hard so that they have a better life, right? So she's got a better life, obviously, because we work hard as her parents. But what I love about her is her humility. You know, she's not growing up as an entitled child because of who my parents are and because I've got everything I need. She's very humble. She respects people. She respects her peers. She's a good child. I'm very blessed that my child turned out like that. And I guess as parents, when we pray for our kids, those are some of the things we pray for.
Absolutely. I think ahead of our own personal needs and wants. And I was saying this with a very good friend of mine. And we're talking about how we can be so hard on ourselves as individuals. Obviously, we have our own individualistic ideas and goals and visions and things that we want to pursue and go after. We beat ourselves up for the moments where we kind of let ourselves down or we didn't show up for something the way we thought, hoped, and felt we should have. But regardless of the journey of life, when you look at your child and that child is happy or that child is smiling or that child is healthy, that makes up for everything. Everything in between just then becomes fickle and unimportant because that child sees you, hears you, feels you. Like, do you understand to your daughter? Like, you are her first hero. Do you understand? Like, a girl, when a girl sees her father, and that's why the presence of a father in a child's life is so imperative and so important. And I'll speak about this because, maybe I should. At the time, after the fight that Pretty had with Casper, we all saw how that turned out. Yeah. Unfortunate. And it didn't match up to the experience of what was happening on the journey leading up to that day and leading up to that fight. Yeah. He was putting in so much time and effort preparing for that moment. Very little limited time, about 4 weeks. I mean, already the odds were completely against him. But what I cherished most about that moment and what I was incredibly proud of in that moment was his resilience. And he was so committed to that thing. And it had been a long time since I had seen him that passionate about something. And that, again, so resilient and so committed. That despite whatever health hazards there were, alarms were going off. Alarm bells were already going off. Like, maybe this isn't a good idea. Nonetheless, though, I was more interested in supporting and holding his hand and making sure that he saw it through because it's what he wanted. So that would override whatever fears anyone else had, right? And that's how life kind of is, right? You've got to commit to what you believe. And he committed to it and he saw it through. The result was not ideal, but it he saw the day through. That was the point. The following day we went home. Life continued for us as per usual. My daughter Africa believes that her father can pick up cars and buses, So even when the world ridiculed him and judged him and made a joke about what had happened, despite the odds and whatever else, in my daughter's eyes, he was still the strongest man. And that for me was what I hoped he would hold on to instead of the noise of the world. That can very easily cloud your judgment, impact your confidence as a man, can challenge what you may have thought and felt you were capable of. As a protector, as a provider, if you take these terms very seriously and you take these responsibilities on very seriously, and then something happens that challenges that, in the eyes of other people, if there's an opportunity for them to ridicule it, it's very easy for you to then believe the nonsense of the world, which is it's such a temporary thing. It's such a short-lived moment. Nonetheless, though, I'm glad that he held on to his daughter's words of affirmation. And again, my daddy's my hero. I love my daddy. My daddy's strong, and and then you work past all of those feelings. It was a bit of a mess for him, and it was a little difficult for him to get out of it, and it became difficult for us. But nonetheless, though, we worked through that time. He's going back in the gym now. He's going to box again.
He's going to box again?
Absolutely. He must.
Pretty.
And I want him
We've got an outstanding interview, bro. We're supposed to have done this a while ago. I'm looking forward to that one. Are you serious?
He's going back in, but not to fight.
Yeah.
He's not going in to fight. He loves boxing.
I get you. I get you.
He will wake up, pay-per-view. I know about the Garcias. I know about every boxer because he's relentless. He will watch anyone and everyone and study everyone, and I'm there with him, But he loves it, and I think, he needs to get through it. But he's going back in, and I cannot wait. I'm excited. We started training together. There's a gym that we would go to, a boxing gym.
Yeah.
And I started boxing. So,
Nice. So I've been in the industry for quite some time, and I've had relationships in the public eye. I can imagine what you guys go through now in the era of social media. How is it having a publicized public relationship like you guys do? You're both famous. You both have got millions of people that know you. Does it affect your relationship sometimes?
No.
Because it's not easy to date in the public eye, eh?
It's not. It's not.
Okay.
You would know this. People have opinions on how you breathe. And if they think you're breathing too much or breathing too little, and they'll express those opinions. And it's just a very strange thing. So regardless of how things go in your life, I guess where there's people's and their thoughts and emotions and words, and people will express it how they deem fit. Where it comes to our relationship, our relationship was there before the popularity. It was there before the eyes and the interest of other people. So I guess it's just a byproduct of what we do. So even how we treat popularity or fame, I don't even think it's fame. I just think we're just he was always a popular kid in school. I was a popular kid in school. So it just feels like this is big high school for everybody. And we're just popular kids.
I actually started following you on social media before you blew up. From when you were still doing dance videos back in the day. In front of my mom's garage. It's just been beautiful to see your rise and rise and rise and rise in success. And I'm just so proud of you.
Thank you. So yeah, we grew up together. We knew each other from when we were about 15 years old.
Serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
From when we were 15. We started dating at 18.
Okay.
18, 19. So this year is officially 15 years of us being together, and we've been married for 5 years.
Wow.
I know.
Congratulations, guys.
But fame is it's neither here nor there for us. I think the problem comes in when you start to believe certain things, and that stems from a couple of things: either a low self-esteem, the state of your mind, the state of your spirit and your soul. If you are not in a good place, it's very easy for things that are nonsensical and things that don't make sense to penetrate and find a place and a home in you when they actually don't. And then you start to believe the lies. Sometimes you start to believe your own lies. You can be like your biggest liar, right? Because you can say the most. And I've said it a couple of times that like sometimes I don't need an enemy. I can say the worst things to myself. I've said the most heartbreaking things to myself. I've had to unlearn things about myself that I believed to be true because, you know, I mean, Erica Badu said it. You don't have to believe everything you think. Even your own thoughts lie to you. And so, you know, because I've had to unlearn these things, and I guess just kind of set a boundary within myself and filter out certain things. The same has applied within our relationship. There's certain things that don't make it into our space. There's certain conversations that we're not willing to have, or we're not willing to entertain. There are ways we're not willing to explain ourselves. I think there have been ridiculous things that have been said, but I mean, if you've got the time to address everybody, then you're using your time in the worst way possible. You know, we've got things to focus on. We've got a family to build. We've got dreams and goals to go after. So fame is like, and what people have to say about us is like, it is what it is.
How has motherhood changed you?
Smooth. Give me, man. Wait to my sisters. They'll say it all the time. Candace especially. She'll say, wait till I forget you're a mom, hey?
Yeah.
It's you know, like laser focus. That's what it's done to me. It's made me very intentional, very deliberate about where and how I spend my time, how I think, how I navigate, how I act. And it's like, it's so to be a parent is very scary because very quickly you realize how what you do quickly overrides what you say because kids are so observant.
Yeah. They do as we do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not as we say.
As we say, yeah.
They'll challenge what we say.
Yeah.
They will find ways around what we say, but what we do, they will do. And I see it in Africa. I see it in my child. And so in many ways, my level of self-awareness of how I act and how I think, really, my self-awareness has heightened a lot because I feel very responsible. And responsible in the sense that I've been trusted with a life. She doesn't belong to me. She's my child, but she's not mine. She has been trusted and borrowed to me and her father, and we are trusted to bring this life into the world the way God has intended. All we pray for is that God equips us with what is necessary for her to show up as her best self the way God intends. And we pray to align with how God sees her. And so, as a mother, I try to align to that. Spiritually, religiously, however, my relationship with God is so hectic. Like, ke rata Modimo ka pelo le moya and everything in me. And she knows it because she says it. She speaks it herself. You know, she'll speak about God like, she's like, no, Mommy, when is God coming out? I want to see him. Mommy, I love Jesus. Where's Jesus? You know, but
so you're raising her in the church?
We raise her in the
church. Nice.
Yeah,
well done.
We're raising her in the church.
Well done.
We want her to give us something to believe in, but also we're open to the fact that she may decide otherwise for herself someday. But that's also for her to decide. Nonetheless, though, I love being a mother. It's my favorite thing. You know when they say before your child is like when you try to imagine what life was like before your child.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Life is beautiful. I love it. I love her. I'm obsessed.
There's a strengthened sense of purpose.
1,000%. 1,000%. And I refuse to give up on anything. Not myself. I refuse to give up on her. I refuse to give up on our family. I just refuse to give up. And so it's don't stop, don't quit. mentality.
Did you know when you were young that you're going to end up in the industry, or did you have other dreams of doing other things?
Because my dad was an accountant, I wanted to be an accountant.
Okay.
Then he passed. Then my mom worked many years as an office administrator / receptionist. Then I wanted to be a receptionist.
Because you see mama, yes.
Mama.
Because kids do as the parents do.
Exactly. And then the first independent line of work that I felt like I wanted to do was architecture. I actually thought I wanted to be an architect. I spent a day, I take a child to work day.
Yeah.
I spent a day with an architect. And
you're
I
like,
hated it.
So those things are important, eh?
Very. No,
Actually,
they are.
one of my younger brothers, he's just walked out. Same thing. He talks about how me just bringing him onto radio changed his life.
Oh, yeah.
Just exposing him to the studio. I used to invite him at YFM.
Yeah.
I just exposed him when I was shooting Friends Like These. He would
important.
come. He says those things are so important. Now he's an adult. He's like 29, 30.
Yeah.
He says that impacted his life forever.
Completely. And so it's the same thing with Africa. We try to expose her to everything. She comes to our performances, our rehearsals, but she also gets like doctor equipment and like things to draw and paint, and she wants to do karate now. And so we're blessed to be in a position where we're able to expose her to all of these things. But it's that though, like we want her to be able to dabble and find the things that she likes and wants for herself.
Yeah. Very interesting. As an audience who's watching, most kids are told that dancing is just dancing. No, man, focus on 1, 2, 3, and 4. How did you, or how were you able to turn that talent into a career? As you were saying, that at some point you wanted to be an accountant, at some point you wanted to be a receptionist.
Yeah.
What is it that you knew? What is it that changed it all for you to think, actually, I can make this dancing thing a profession?
The first people that I saw who were my first point and source of inspiration, and I've told Sis Tembi this, Tembi said, was Boom Shaka. So seeing Boom Shaka perform, for me was like, as a kid who is 7, 8, 9 years old, I couldn't put my finger on it, but there was something about entertainment and being on stage that I really loved. And so I think for me, growing up, and dance for me as well, I think dance was extremely personal because after my dad had passed away, because I carried the guilt of my father's passing.
Why?
Because I dreamt of his death before it happened. Yeah. The day before. The day before, Smoo. The day before. So imagine, it's a Saturday night, you go to bed. I had a dream that my father had passed away. I wake up in the morning, I tell my mom and my dad.
You told them?
I told them.
How old were you at the time?
I was 6. I was 6 years old. And then Sunday evening, early morning, I wake up. So home where we lived, there was a kitchen and my bedroom was closest to the kitchen. And my father wakes up in the wee hours of the morning and, I see him holding tools, but, it's neither here nor there for you as a child. And I go to him and I remember the only thing he said to me was, I love you. Remember, Daddy loves you. Daddy loves you. Go to bed. Go to bed. Daddy loves you. Daddy loves you. Monday morning, we don't find my father anywhere. And he had unfortunately committed suicide.
Oh,
yeah. So tell me, Smoo, you're a 6-year-old. You dreamt that your father passed on the night before. You wake up, you tell your parents the following day your dad is gone. I carried that with me my entire life.
I understand what you mean.
It completely broke my spirit. Completely broke me. Completely. Since then, entertainment is a very weird space for me to be in. And I didn't think I would be in it at all. Because immediately, I invalidated my own thoughts, my own feelings, my own ideas, because I thought they were so bad and so lethal and so dangerous that it was fatal. So much so that I had a dream, told my dad, and he died. So do you understand? Anything that comes from me, my lesson to me at that time as a 6-year-old is, BONTLE, shut up. Next time, keep quiet. And everything since then, BONTLE has been this girl.
Oh, that's what you mean. You carried the guilt.
I carried the guilt. That actually, your feelings don't matter. So no matter anything that I felt, Smooth, regardless, in friendship, in sisterhood, just in life in general, since then, I had silenced myself. Then I became an extremely introverted child who you hardly heard speak. I almost became mute, like, Hakibui, you won't know how I feel. My best expression is to cry, through anger, through disappointment, through happiness. I cry. Even in my grown years, at my big age, I've still kind of grown up with certain things like that. But hence why I've said to you, there's a lot that I've had to unlearn. And one of the biggest things I had to unlearn was that it was not my fault that my father had passed away.
The power of your thoughts.
You don't have to believe what you think. It's not true. It's not true that it was my fault. But I lived with that for 30 plus years.
Yeah, I understand. But anyway, the beautiful thing is that now it's got a new member of the family
It's
around.
absolutely stunning. Sorry, it's so heavy. Sorry, but like...
It's okay. Our folks are actually here. They're visiting us. I know.
Yeah, you know?
They are here.
So yeah, but it's insane as well how difficulties of life and trauma kind of grow with you, and that's why as a parent, that's why my level of self-awareness is very intentional and deliberate, so that I don't want her to get the short end of the stick of the best version of me, or her to get the least best version of me, because I've been burnt and hurt by whatever I've gone through in life.
Yeah.
So these are things that we need to do as people. We need to face these things head on, and we don't look like these issues and problems. But, you know, I'm learning that what I think and what I feel actually matters. And I need her to know that. I say it to her, but when I say it to her, I say it to myself, because I need to affirm my own thoughts, my own ideas. And I wouldn't be here if I didn't have family who would pull me out of certain things, or more often than not, my sisters or my mom or my husband were reminders, or would put up a mirror and say, yeah, but this is the greatness that we know you are. This is the good in you. This is what's good about what you've done. These are your great efforts. This is why you need to keep going. Because, yeah, I've said the harshest and the most unbearable things even to myself.
Did you know that you'd succeed starting out a career as a dancer? That has just opened up so many doors to all these other things that you've become.
Going back to your question, this is why dance was so powerful for me.
Yeah. Oh, it was a therapy.
It was. Dance became my therapy. My best level of expression was through dance. It was also the only time that I felt seen. And by that I mean, because I was such a quiet, introverted child, wasn't good at making friends, wasn't good in social spaces, social anxiety had me by the neck. And so because I wasn't good with people, I often didn't feel good at a lot of things, but I actually was. But dancing was when I felt seen and celebrated by people. And then it became my therapy. It became the best way I could voice how I felt without using any words. Because I also felt like, because I didn't speak much, I didn't use my words well. I didn't feel like I was well-spoken. I just felt like, whatever, you know? And so that's why I just felt like I couldn't speak, and I chose not to speak. And so dancing did all the speaking for me. Sure, it was a great social exercise, and physically, like, it was amazing. There were challenges as well in the world of dance that I had to go through, some difficulties. You know, I've never been like a super slim girl. there are things within the industry now. This is now growing in dance and it becoming less of a social activity, and now it's something that I'm taking a little more seriously. I'm joining dance crews at this time, but now my first dance crew, it's like it was Cryptic, and then from Cryptic it was New Era. What was it? The reps, and then I joined the repertoires, and then that's when I started working with artists. And Josie was the first music video that I did, Motherland, and now I'm getting into the world of entertainment, but like in the commercial space, right? And now I'm doing music videos, we're doing dance competitions, we are reenacting everything that we're seeing in like the step ups and the stomp the yards. And I think then for me, it was just like, yo, this is actually something that I really want to do. But again, because it's not seen or treated as an industry, but is rather seen as something that you do on the side or a hobby, often you're met with the, okay, so when are you going to take your life seriously? Like, what's this real thing that you do? And it's like, no, but I dance. Fine. Even my mom. And it's not to say that my mom had any kind of limited thinking, but if you are not exposed to many examples of people succeeding within a certain space, it's very hard for you to see. It's not that you don't believe in your child, but you don't believe that it's a successful space to be in. And so because there weren't many successful examples to my mother, and I guess to a lot of parents, it just doesn't seem as something viable. But nonetheless, I was just committed to this thing. And you know when you're just like, no man, Mara, this thing, even if I try to get away from it, it still continues to, it doesn't want to leave me alone, you know. There's a time when I stopped dancing because I hated the issues and the politics in and around dancing and the disrespect that came with it. It's like, oh, wajaiva fail. And it's like, you guys don't value what we actually do. You don't remunerate us the way we should be remunerated. You don't pay us. You don't think of the time and the effort that we put in the studio. Of course, when you guys see the final product, it's meant to look easy. It's meant to look like it's not anything to take seriously. But is that not the sign of true and great artistry? When an artist makes what they do look easy. And then you realize that actually it's not easy when you get into it. And so, you know, we do things at our own risk. But we can't get medical aid. We can't get anything insured. We can't, like, there's so many things that work against the dancer and the creative. And so, because I started diversifying in the entertainment industry, I wanted to become an actress. I wanted to explore being a television presenter. Now that I'm in the industry and I've got peers now in the entertainment industry, then I'm being told, yeah, you need to stop dancing though. We can never take you seriously as a presenter if you're still dancing. I believed it because I was like, actually. But it kind of made sense because I was just like, yeah, it doesn't make sense for me to be a television host of a particular show and then to be a backup dancer for another artist. It's a little bit like, it's conflicting ideas. It doesn't actually make sense. And I could understand that as you work your way up the ranks, certain things begin to not make sense. And that's when you start to make like really tough decisions. But nonetheless, though, I stopped dancing for like 2 years. I was like, I'm done with it. Then dance was like, nah, you're not done actually. So this is when, again, the purpose supersedes my personal ideas of what I think it should be. And there are things that happen in between that are reminders that it's actually bigger than me. It's far bigger than me.
You, yeah.
And that's what dance is for me. So whether people, sometimes people do it, like they say it and they're just like, yo, hi, when are you going to stop dancing? Hey, what? And it's like, but it's bigger than me. And I've been called to something much bigger than me. And while I can, I will. But if it's about you and your preferences, that's ridiculous. So I didn't know it could be a career, but I'm glad that I stayed the course because I had other people that I looked up to, a Somizi, a Nosha Cooper, to me who were like the blueprint of how to do it and how to diversify and how to like, okay, because now seeing them on like a backstage and on a Sarafina, it's like, no, and seeing a Tembisi, they're becoming an actress and then becoming a television host on Jiga Majiga. It was just seeing other people make other things possible and giving themselves the permission to show up in these other ways that allowed me to do the same thing for myself, to say, yeah, I can still dance. That can be the main vehicle, but I can do all these other things. And so now, you know, having grown in it, having stayed the course, but also having to work my way up the ranks in dance and understand how to, I guess, create or find my way in the industry in something that is seen as a hobby. It's something that I'm glad I committed to it, because now there's BONTLE MODISELLE dance studios. Now there's traveling overseas and teaching to various countries in styles and genres that they want to learn and understand. It's shooting documentaries and speaking about dance and what it is and how it acts as an art, as a skill, but also as a tool of betterment of self, heart, mind, soul, spirit, the body. It's so many things. It's not a hobby. So to any parent who looks at their child and their child is like, Mama, please don't take that lightly. There is something in there. And it's important then for someone like me to be an example to a kid, because I didn't study at school. I'm not a studied dancer. I'm not a studied performer. But for me, I pray that I can reach a point in my life where I can create the opportunity for Wanakokasi to get to a respectable establishment and to recognize themselves in the syllabus. If you're a child and you go to an art or a dance school, you're going to learn jazz, you're going to learn contemporary, you're going to learn ballet, you're going to learn everything Western. And then when they say learn something African, it's this. And it's like, no. But if you are, how long Wanakokasi, Oshapangspotra, the piano, and street dance culture, or are a contemporary type of artist or creative, or what do we do with you then? What do we do with that skill? How do we bring bread home to you and your family? How do we sustain you? How do we grow you? And how do we make you another success story? Yeah.
When did you know that you were good?
You hope you're good, ne?
Because sometimes I ask myself, like, these people are so dope. Do they know that they're dope?
You hope you're good. I think maybe things that validated me was winning dance competitions.
I get you.
Yeah.
I get you.
I think that was for me, like winning Masters of Rhythm, Best Female Dancer, whatnot, and then being a part of crews. And also, like, back in the day, I was very committed to not being feminine, So for me, even my dance style, I was just like, ooh, I want to pop and I want to hit and I want to crump. And I wanted to do all the masculine styles of dancing. That's just what I wanted to do, because I just did not want to be feminine, because at the time I also thought the softer, daintier, feminine stuff was like weak.
yeah, I get you.
And now, I've grown to understand things a lot differently. That's not how I approach them, or understand them now. But yeah, man, I've had a very interesting dance journey, but it's great though, and I'm grateful for it, because I've been able to, my understanding of music and dance. And I always say this about dance, is that dancers are like, Albert Einstein said, dancers are the athletes of God. So I'm like, I say that to myself. I'm like, yeah, I'm an athlete of God, number one, so don't play me.
Yeah.
But also, like, it's just to be able to be the visual representation of music. And I say that about dancers. If you want to see what music looks like, just watch a dancer. You know how to hear it, you know how to feel it. But if you want to know what music looks like, just watch a dancer and how they interpret it, and how they listen to it, and how they make sense of it, and all of that stuff. But yeah, anyway.
Wow, that's incredible. There's another young man. I follow a lot of people.
Sure.
I love the youth. I've been following this guy for quite some time, but recently he's traveling the world. And for me, I look at him as a new generation of what you've been doing. I'm sure it's people who've been growing up watching you guys. With the success of our music genre, Amapiano has brought in so many eyeballs from all over the world into our country. You find that there is an audience out there that is interested to know how to do these dance styles. And I see him going overseas and traveling. Let me maybe give him a plug and a shout out and say he's doing a great job. He calls himself Limpopo Boy.
Limpopo
So
boy.
proud of you, bro. So proud of you, bro. And for me, I'm like, wow, I used to watch this guy just dance.
Yeah.
Now he's literally traveling the world.
He literally is.
And teach. So you can literally create a career. And
Absolutely.
when you teach them overseas, they pay you, right?
No, they do. They absolutely do.
So you get invited by other dance studios?
Yes. So you get invited by other dance studios or agencies or events or festivals or whatever it is that's out there.
Yeah.
But also it's so interesting how the international dance market or the industry works there. So if you're an African or if you are, if you are South African, Ghanaian, Kenyan or whatever, if you are already in Europe or if you live in Europe, it becomes so much easier for you to move between these different countries and to be able to teach. And word gets around so quickly. So once you are plugged into one place and they see how great you are, people are so eager to learn. I don't think people understand when people say that all eyes are on Africa now. It's not a joke.
It's not a joke, eh?
It's not a joke. And don't take it lightly. So as a creative, especially as a black person, now is the perfect time to do that thing that you've been thinking about so much.
Please repeat that line.
Now
is the perfect time.
It is the perfect time to do that thing that you've been thinking about. Do it now.
Do it now.
Do it now.
Don't second guess it. Don't doubt it. Don't doubt yourself. Just go do it now.
Now. Do it now. You have no idea who's on the other side. You have no idea who's watching. You have no idea who it's going to reach. And the thing is, people, please don't take lightly the global community that exists on the internet. I say this all the time. I witnessed the generation that had to leave wherever home was to come to Joburg because it was the entertainment hub. And so you needed to come and physically move your whole life and move to Joburg because this is where success was dubbed to be. If you wanted to be in film or whatever, you needed to go to Cape Town. Nonetheless, though, Joburg seemed to be the heart of the art. We live in a time now where your phone, wherever you are, you don't need to leave.
Just film yourself.
Just film that thing.
And put it out there.
Just put it out there.
Non-stop.
We'll come to you. Isn't that great?
We'll find you.
We'll find you. So that's why I'm saying you have to do it now and stop overthinking it. I came across a post.
Geez, now that you're saying that, I'm thinking of so many of they are playing in my mind, so many of your viral videos. Because you've had a lot of videos go viral. And I'm sure those things open doors, ne?
Completely.
When your videos go viral.
Yes. Because then, so many things happen and it's not just a fleeting moment. All these things that you post, it starts with 2 views, 3, 4. Then it becomes 100. Then it becomes 200. Then it becomes 1,000, 100,000. And before you know it, it's 1 million.
And you don't know how many people, who's watching there. You don't know who's on the other side.
You don't know who's on the other side. When I was at the Rock Nation brunch, I was so shocked when Miguel knew who I was. Let my love adorn you.
Yeah,
I was like, there's no way. That's like ridiculous. He came to me and he was like, oh, BONTLE. He was struggling to say my name.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, BONTLE. And I was like, BONTLE. And I was like, no, it's BONTLE. It's a great conversation starter. People always struggle to say my name overseas. But it's just to say, I'm using that as an example to say, you never know who's on the other side. I came across a post the other day and it was talking about how, and I mean it respectfully, it was talking about how dumb people are more successful than intelligent people.
Yeah.
Okay. And the reason for that is that dumb people don't overthink it. They just do it. And they fail so many times, but they're failing forward.
We fail forward.
And the thing is, what they have over the person who is intelligent is they have failed, but they have learnt and they have lessons and they have experience. The intelligent person can overthink and think and overthink and think of that same idea and think themselves out of doing it.
And analyze and
then
analyze
you think
and overanalyze.
Overanalyze and then you think your way into paralysis. And 5 years later, you've done nothing.
You still have not done nothing. I get you.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So, whoever you are, it's not even about how old you are. Ageism is a myth. If you are 40 and you want to start dancing, do it. If you are a young person, you feel like this is something for someone much older, you have no idea. Just do it. Whatever speaks to you, whatever nudges you, whatever keeps you up at night, just do that thing. Because again, all eyes are on Africa. All eyes, like they want to know. And they want to know they want to know, man, how do you guys listen to music? How do you move? How do you make sense of that thing? Why do South Africans move like that? What is that thing, you know? And the landscape is big and it's wide and it's enough for all of us. So when I see someone like Limpopo Boy, it's exciting because it's like, yeah, but that's exactly what we should be doing though. And I'm glad that that's the trajectory of his journey, because I've known Limpopo Boy for years. I've known him, geez, I mean, when I think about the number of kids, Malonko Kapa Pretoria, who have adopted his style of dancing, who have the blonde hair, who have the same, that survivor cloth of dancer. It's like, dude, there's a whole culture and a whole movement behind this young man. But now here he is, he's flying the flag, he's going overseas and he's teaching and growing and exporting what is ours as a true South African. That's how it should be done. And that's what they want. Europeans, they say all the time. And recently I just came back from Spain and I did a festival. It was Oyefe Festival, and it was their 6th edition. And what they do is they get instructors and some of the best across from all over the world for a few days to come and teach, and we have master classes and workshops, and it's just an exchange of energy and culture and skill, and you have all of this happening, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. What I did not, or what it made me realize, was we're not doing enough though here at home. We don't have those kind of offerings here at home. And so people are needing to travel to Spain and travel to France and travel to the UK and travel to the US to go have an amazing Amapiano experience. And it's not to say that we're not doing enough, but I feel like there's enough. There's more that can be done. As everyone who is a key player in the industry, there's so much more we need to do. And it's great what it's doing on its own, or what it's done thus far with the dance challenges and how music moves on social media and in the digital space, and seeing the success stories of the Tylers and the Uncle Waffles, the Durban Gogos. It is the most exciting thing to witness, but we have such a great responsibility, more so in the preservation of what is a global phenomenon. We have such a big responsibility.
Let's talk about the evolution and BONTLE, the businesswoman.
Wow.
The growth, Mtansekai.
The growth.
Yeah.
The growth.
Embrace growth.
Yeah. I love where I am now. I think how it all started off with me. I mean, when I was about 18 years old. And I started studying, go the University of Johannesburg, go UJ. And I was studying my bachelor's in corporate communication. And that for me was giving my mom what she wanted. So it's like, ay, mama, tshwara degree ya hao. Nonetheless though, but there was a commitment that I made in that time when I was applying, and we needed to go apply for a loan because my mom couldn't afford the fees, right? So I was going to go get a student loan, and I was like, I promise I'm going to pay this thing back. So I made that commitment to her. And since then, I had adopted this thing of, I need to make my own money. I stopped asking my mom for money the day I turned 18, or because I was like, I'm not a single cent. I will give you money. I'm not going to ask you for money. And so, I started doing other things. Sure, I was dancing, but then I became a promoter. You know, those people who stand in a garage, baufadi pamphlet, and they're earning 25, 40 rand an hour. I was doing that. And then I became, I was a promoter. I became a field manager.
You were hustling.
I was hustling. Listen here. And I didn't, you learn later on, what multiple streams of income is. But at the time, you're just hustling. You're just trying to grab as many things as you can from every possible angle. And so I'm dancing, but I'm also studying, but now I'm a promoter, and then I become a field manager. And then I stopped dancing, and I'm like, no, I need an office job, but I'm studying at the same time. And then I study in the office. I work in the office. I worked a corporate job for like 2 months. I hated it. I said, never again. I'm not doing this. I'm not built for it. Nonetheless, though, but there was a need for me to always do something, and I always had to find something. I always found myself doing something. And then, dancing at the same time while studying, while continuing with these promotions jobs, or being a field manager. You very quickly, what was great about being able to do all of these things was I was able to, in a company, there are various departments, and different individuals are hired to show up in those roles. But as someone in entertainment or someone who's an artist, when you're starting off, you are every department.
Yeah, you're everything, yeah.
You are marketing, you are sales.
You're the receptionist.
You are a receptionist, you are doing your own admin, you're doing your own invoicing. And now if you work in the digital space, you create your own ideas, and then you are the artist performing that idea. Then you are editing. And then you must submit to client. But then also, before you even get that job, you're also negotiating. And then you don't know the difference between a good and a bad deal. You just see a number, and that number's nice. But then you don't understand the implications of the contract that you've signed. But anyway, that's the kind of load and weight that I carried for the longest of time by myself. And then quickly you learn that just because you can do everything yourself, it doesn't mean you should. But I'm grateful because now that I got to a point where I now had to get like someone to do PR for me, because I wasn't able to do it myself. Then I was like, Ash, I actually need to, because you hit a ceiling. Especially it's very easy as an independent artist to hit the ceiling.
Yeah.
But also you burn out very quickly, and something is going to lack. Something is going to fall behind. Some emails will go unanswered. You're going to miss so many jobs.
Yeah.
So do you understand?
Yeah.
There's just so many things that can go past you over your head. And so very quickly I was like, okay, cool. Now I need to get a manager. Now it's a trust exercise. I've been doing all of my business myself. Now I'm holding on to everything. Now it's like, now I need to get a manager. Or now I need to get somebody I can delegate certain or offload certain responsibilities so that I can show up as my best self in certain ways. And I needed to choose what I wanted to prioritize. And for me, showing up as an artist or as a creative in whatever way, as a dancer, as a choreographer, as a performance and creative director, as a television host, as a radio host, whatever my role was on that day, I was choosing to focus my energies and my efforts in that and not worrying about the emails. But that's what happens, right? As you grow, you realize you need a team. You need a support system. You need, while you are on stage doing your thing, how is your business running? Then you need to, and that's when I also quickly understood that I needed to, especially as a dancer, I needed to treat myself as a business. And if I treat myself as a business, then people will treat me differently, or will receive me differently, or will engage me differently. It's not like that thing. No. It's like, no, now we need to talk. Now we negotiate. Now you can put value on this thing. Now, there's a whole bunch that comes with it. But, in 2020.
Before COVID.
Before COVID, I had signed to Stalo, which is a artist management company. And that's when I was like, okay, someone needs to handle and manage my business because I can't do it anymore. And since then, it brought structure to what it is that I do. From there, BONTLE MODISELLE Dance Studios was birthed. So then we were able to really create an entity outside of BONTLE that can exist, that can I say it poetically all the time. For me, BONTLE MODISELLE Dance Studio, at the heart of it is like my love letter to dance, right? This is me giving back to the thing that's given me so much and creating a space. Like I said, I want to create an academy or a space where Wanakokasi or wherever else is able to come in and recognize themselves in the people that teach them, where a syllabus can be created to say, this is who we are, this is what we're about, this is how we move, this is how we listen to music, and whatever else. But that's what that was. And then also, I guess, living in this new age and this new time, recently I was in Botswana at the Forbes 30 Under 30, and I was on a panel conversation, and we were speaking about what it means to be a new entrepreneur in these days and times, but in the digital and the social media space. And you don't think about it, right? It's very easy to not think about it that way, but it's like, but that's what you are. You are a key player in an industry where there is an ecosystem, and you are part of a marketing or a marketing vehicle. And when a brand comes to you and they are able to align or see themselves in you or see what it is that they can, because ultimately it's supposed to be a mutual beneficial relationship. And that's how then you learn to be like, okay, it's actually a business. Okay, so to be an entrepreneur in this time, okay, so this is what it is. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of growing. There's a lot of learning. There's a lot of... there's a lot there's a lot that's been achieved in this time, but it's been such a fun ride. It's very scary as well.
Do you miss radio?
I do. I do. I'll go back maybe one day, but I'm Scoop. I miss you. So
I haven't seen Scoop in a while. Scoop, I miss you too, bro. You blue ticking my DMs. I'm trying to call your old number, can't find you no more.
Please.
I haven't seen Scoop in a while.
I love
miss him,
Scoop.
man.
I love him.
I think
so
everybody
much.
misses Scoop, even the industry.
Yeah, I love him so much.
Everybody loves Scoop.
Yeah, I love him so much. And when we were on radio together, we had a show called The Rodeo. It was
The Rodeo
on
with YFM. Yeah.
Rodeo at YFM every single Sunday, 6 to 10. It was such a beautiful show as well. It was very unconventional, and I love that. And he always pushed the envelope. You know, when you work with Scoop, you are pushing the envelope, and you are in for the ride.
Yeah.
That's it. But it was my favorite part about working with him. He was very unpredictable, and he kept me on my toes. And I think that kind of sharpened my tools as well, which was fantastic. But I do miss radio.
So if you were to do radio now, what type of radio would you like to do?
Yo, Ena. That'll be interesting. I don't know. I have no idea. I'd have to think about it. I'd have to give it some thought, yeah.
That's dope, man. Thank you so much. And before I let you go, man,
Yeah.
you know, rona re rata go kgothatsa bana ba bang, you know?
Hey,
I know you've been doing that this entire interview.
No.
But man, thank you. Thank you for the wisdom. Thank you for the amazingness.
Thank you, Smooth.
And thank you guys for your family. And thank you to your parents. Ra leboga. Thank you so much for giving us these amazing sisters. You've given us role models to our children. And you guys not only entertain us, but you also spiritually fulfill young people. And may you continue. I'm so proud of you. I love all of you guys. And I've been blessed to have known all of you guys. Please look at them, please.
Like I said, whatever that thing is, whatever that idea is, that hope, that dream, like, do it now. You'll make your mistakes, but stay the course. But also continue to, and I say this all the time, there are three things I feel like, whether at the beginning of your journey, in the middle of your journey, or right at the end, I feel like there's three questions you always need to ask yourself, and it will inform the types of decisions you will make from there. Number one, start with who you are. So who are you? Omang, onaling. What is your gift? What is your talent? What are you innately good at? And what can you do with it, right? So start with who you are. Start with where you are. So where you are is not like physically, yeah, cool, it's a circumstance. That's a circumstance. But where are you? What's around you? Where are you in your life? Are you making decisions from a point of inspiration or desperation? Or so where are you? and know the space that your heart, your mind, your spirit is in. So start with who you are, where you are, and what you've got. What you've got is it your talent? Is it your skill? Over and above what you've got, think of the people that are around you. Who can you call? Who can you lean on? Who can support you? Who can help you? Who's the first person who can make that first purchase of that t-shirt you've been wanting to print for the longest of time? Do you understand? So that's what I mean when I say start with who you are, where you are, and what you've got. And the more you continue in your life, and as you continue to succeed, because that's what we pray for, and that's what we speak over your life, even as you succeed, you will still ask these questions. What do I have? All of these things still need to inform the main thing, which is at the heart of what we do, which is, why did you even start? What was the point? What is the purpose of all of this? And if you can answer all of these questions, but ultimately informing this one here about purpose, I'll find you. Sharp.
Thank you. BONTLE MODISELLE Dance Studios is in a very beautiful, iconic building in Johannesburg, Hallmark. You sharing presence with the likes of Abo Laduma, with his Maxhosa Designs. They collaborated with him in the building. Black Coffee as well. And you also did step up, because you made sure. And you're actually at the roof. You're on the roof, right?
Rooftop, right at the top.
Like 360 views of Johannesburg.
The most gorgeous view.
Gorgeous studios.
Gorgeous view.
What's next? That's my last question.
Woo!
We like saying the pipeline. What's in the pipeline? What's next?
Well, I am exercising my acting muscle. So people are going to see that.
Okay.
So there's something that's coming up, which is very exciting. Beyond that, though, let's just let life and God take us by surprise. While I find out, you'll also find out.
Proud of you, man. Please pass my regards to the family. Pass my regards to Pretty Ugly. Looking forward to sitting down with him. And congratulations on everything.
Thank you.
And say
Love you, Spoon.
Hello to Africa. Thank you very much. Ne?
Thank you.
We love you guys very much. Thank you for tuning in. We wish you all of the best for your dreams as well. See you on the next episode. Thank you.